Because you have so much more to offer than just the technical stuff, than just the wall of perfection. By the way, I know this because I lived it for many years. This wall of getting everything perfect and keeping it together. And it's like, my story was, I don't need you. So when I didn't need anyone, I could do everything myself. Right? And I would just work on the bits and pieces and have it just perfectly sewn together. So no one could see any cracks in the wall. There's nothing to catch out. Everything is so perfect. But what was missing is that behind this wall of perfection, which was really thick, was even like thicker than the Great Wall of China, even though I haven't been there, like thicker than that. You know, where I was safe behind these walls, but what I realized after some time was that it was very lonely behind those walls. Some of you have a wall of perfection, and it's just impenetrable. Like there's no cracks in the wall, it's perfect. Technically it's put together really perfectly. But you're in there somewhere and you're kind of just hoping someone will break your walls down and reach out to you. They won't, because they can't, because you put a wall up. And your wall maybe is the wall of perfection. You know, so take a risk. Because you got the technical stuff. Take a risk and let the technical stuff fall apart a little bit. Let it come down a little bit. And then show yourself a little bit. Show that you're not perfect all the time. You're amazing. You're awesome. And sometimes you fumble around. Sometimes you make the so-called mistakes too. No big deal. Then it would take the pressure off them from being perfect. Because otherwise, like what you're doing is, subconsciously you're transmitting to them like, you better get it perfect. Because I've worked on it, and I'm perfect. You know, I used to facilitate teacher training for the first few years, and I was like, there's something missing here. It's really hard for me to connect with the group, or I'm not having the level of, the depth of connection I'd like to have with the group. And it was this wall. I had to work away at chipping away at it, and it took years. And I've been working on it for like 10 years now. Most of it is down. Now, most of the time I can be vulnerable with the group, but it took some work. Maybe it won't take you that long. Maybe it might just be, you know, we have this conversation and you're just going to start showing yourself, and it's not that risky for you. But for me, it felt really scary and risky, and I had to really work at the wall all the time, everywhere I went, so that I don't leave, I'm not the one left feeling alone and then complaining that, oh, no one's actually reaching out to me, but what happened was I was the one that put the wall up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So allow yourself to take a risk, allow yourself just to be vulnerable. I can guarantee you it's not as bad as you think. No one's really going to hurt you, no one's really going to harm you. If anything, strangely enough, it actually creates more connection. It actually allows them to feel like, oh wow, he's human too, she's human too. They're not perfect. Gives me permission to be not perfect. Gives me permission to like fall or fumble around a little bit too. Thank you. And they'll keep coming because they're like, cool, you're a work in progress, I'm a work in progress. Otherwise, you're too perfect and they just like, you are unattainable. You're up there somewhere and you're too good, you're too perfect. As a teacher, as a yogi, as a this, as a that. So they would keep feeling like, oh, well, I guess I'm kind of here and they're there. And that's what the wall does. Puts you away from them, puts you separate to them. Who here can relate to that, by the way? Does that make sense? So that's what I was getting at. I feel like you have such a big heart, you've got so much to bring into your class. Show them that. Go, yeah, that. Let them see that.